A man who escaped from the Minnesota sex offender program in St. Peter is back in custody.
St. Peter police say 45-year-old Bo Jacob Edward Zimmer escaped around 1:30 this morning. Police issued a physical description and said he was traveling in an unknown direction on a black Specialized bicycle. Adding Zimmer was possibly armed with an orange-handled kitchen knife with approximately 3-inch blade. Zimmer was taken into custody a little after 7 this morning after he was spotted by a resident. A suspect is in custody after a reported robbery at the Kentucky Fried Chicken in Mankato last night. Police got the call around 11:15 last night. The business was closed when police say a woman came in through an unlocked door, showed a gun, and fled with an undisclosed amount of cash. 3 employees in the building were not hurt. According to police, the suspect was arrested without incident 90 minutes later. She was identified with the help of security footage, and police say they found the firearm believed to have been used in that robbery with the use of a drone.